What did the last 24 hours been like for you?
I've been traveled 5 straight days.
This is Ji-Hwan Bae, a member of the contending Milwaukee Brewers who has a controversial past. He has bounced around from team to team, which has been intentional, considering his career in professional baseball and outside of. We turn to his then girlfriend, Seul-Gi Kim, pictured here. She is a famous actress in South Korea and even starred in the country's version of Saturday Night Live. Very quickly, want to issue a trigger warning. This video discusses acts of assault and domestic violence. In 2018, Kim posted photos to her Instagram account of the abuse she said she suffered at the hands of Bae. She would file a police report in their home country, claiming he choked her, slapped her, and kicked her. She'd also claim he was verbally abusive. Bae, then with the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise, flew home in May of 2018 to be questioned by local authorities. Kim would respond to questions from The Athletic. Bae Ji-Hwan hit me. He hit me in Dago. The first time I was physically abused was on New Year's Eve in 2017. There also was verbal abuse. Before the actual physical abuse, I was under critical stress due to him and his family. His family, and he repeatedly asked me to endure him because he is a baseball player and he needs support. Here is what we know now from that prior incident. It was said to have occurred on New Year's Eve in 2017. According to the actor, Bae threatened me he would die if I didn't see him again. Also, he squeezed my throat until I said that I would love him again. She did not report it immediately out of fear of him and his family. What we should know, and what everyone should take into account as well, and we saw this with some allegations that occurred with a guy who was running for the United States Senate, and some people were arguing that some of the abusers were fake or they weren't credible or anything like that. What we need to understand is there is a direct pattern of domestic violence survivors, and many of the reasons on why they do not report at the time of the alleged incidents. A report from the ACLU on a nationwide survey found 88% of respondents reported that police sometimes or often do not believe victims or blame victims for the violence. Advocates identified police inaction, hostility, and bias against survivors as key barriers to seeking intervention from the criminal justice system. There's also a humongous fear of retaliation, and that can come in many different forms as well. It could be physical. It could be showing up at their doorstep. It could be following them in their car. It could be showing up to their place of work. It could be anything, truly. And if they do report, because of how many authorities don't treat this as well as they should, it could potentially make the entire situation much, much worse. YWCA Spokane also wrote, privacy and confidentiality concerns can play a role in the decision to report domestic violence. Victims may fear that their personal information will not be adequately protected, leading to potential breaches of privacy and compromised safety. Kim would write on Instagram, some ask why I didn't report him right away. The intensity of his physical and verbal abuse was getting stronger. Because of fear, I just couldn't go ahead and do it. What I want now is the end of this sickening relationship, a fair trial, and a just punishment. She continues, I have been pressured physically and mentally, and that made me very scared. If you don't have anyone reliable or good around you, you probably don't have the courage to report the abuser. I decided to go to this path after a lot of dilemma and mental anguish. It's a big mental scar that can never heal. At the time, Bae was signed to a $1.2 million contract. It was the second highest for an international signing in team history, that being, of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Legally, he would be convicted of physically assaulting Kim in their hometown. He'd be fined 2 million won, the equivalent of about 1,755 American dollars. Kim would be blunt. I am not satisfied with the result. The punishment is weak. Bae did not serve a second in jail. Then the news came in, as reported even by MLB.com, the official website of Major League Baseball. Bae would be suspended for 30 games. Ben Cherington, general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, released a statement at the time. Behavior that would make anyone unsafe or feel unsafe is just simply not tolerated, and there's no room for it in the culture we strive for. But saying behavior that would make anyone unsafe or feel unsafe is not tolerated is different than saying we won't or can't continue to work with someone who behaved like that once in the past. Details matter. Every case is different. A decision was made to continue to work with Ji-Hwan Bae, and everything I know about his case and his actions since then would support that decision. Cherington would emphasize growing positively as a person was the main thing the organization was looking for. Bae would complete a treatment program, and thus he was promoted to the bigs of Major League Baseball. Last November, his time came to a close with the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Buccos said, nah, we're done here. So the Mets would sign him off of waivers. And then on August the 4th, he was released by the New York Metropolitans. The Brewers signed him, and because of team injuries, he was quite literally immediately promoted to their big league roster, and he even played, getting on base with a bunt single. Brian Salvatore wrote of Bae, he is a depth piece that has a place in every organization in baseball, but he's not a superstar either in the current day or in the making. But even if he was, does an organization really want to bring on someone with a history of domestic abuse in the year 2026? It shouldn't be the job of fans, he would continue, to find out if the player their team signed is remorseful for his violent past. It is the team's job to either assure us that he is, or to admit that they really don't care what a player does off the field or did before donning, for example, in this case, orange and blue of the New York Mets. While there may be more to this story, from a fan's perspective, it's fairly clear. The Mets looked at a fringy player and decided that this is the guy for whom they were willing to sell their integrity. And to that, I say I agree. I completely agree. Because no matter what, if you are found guilty of this, if you see so many different clubs take this opportunity on a person, this will follow you, and it will follow the team as well. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/tytsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.